Silence isn't emptiness, it's power. It unsettles people. It forces them to confront their own thoughts. It removes your energy from places that don't deserve it. In a world addicted to noise, to constant reactions, to instant opinions, silence is rebellion. And the strongest men know, the less you say, the more control you keep. The Stoics understood this centuries ago. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth so that we can listen twice as much as we speak." Not just to others, but to ourselves. Because every unnecessary word is a thread, and the more you talk, the more thread you give others to pull you apart. But when you're silent, you become unreadable. And in that mystery, there's strength. Most men talk to fill the silence. The Stoic uses silence to reveal truth. He observes, he listens, he calculates, not out of fear, but out of discipline. He knows that every reaction, every defense, every explanation gives away power. And the man who speaks less forces others to lean in, to wonder, to respect the restraint they themselves can't master. But make no mistake, silence isn't passivity, it's precision, the ability to hold back until the moment is right. And when that moment comes, your words don't just make noise, they carry weight. Silence intimidates the insecure. They'll call you distant, cold, arrogant, because your quiet makes them confront their own noise. It exposes the constant chatter in their heads, the need for validation in every conversation. But the Stoic doesn't speak to soothe others. He speaks only when words add value, and when they don't, he lets his presence speak louder than anything he could say. There's a reason the most dangerous men in history weren't the loudest. They observed, they waited, they mastered their emotions before opening their mouths. Because once you speak, you give away your position, your doubt, your insecurity, your ego. But silence? That keeps your power close, controlled, unreadable. In an argument, silence is a weapon. When someone pushes you, insults you, tries to pull you into emotional chaos, the moment you stay quiet, you win. Not by avoiding the conflict, but by owning your response. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." And silence, when it comes from mastery, is the purest form of non-reaction. This doesn't mean you never speak. It means you choose when to speak, and what you say has been filtered through discipline, not emotion. You're not being silent because you don't know what to say. You're being silent because you're not ready to waste what you know. Silence also creates contrast. In a world where everyone overshares, your restraint makes you stand out. People lean in. They wonder what you're thinking. They respect that you don't need to fill the air to feel important. That's presence. That's control. The Stoics didn't just believe in silence, they weaponized it. They understood that when words are rare, they hit harder. And here's what most people miss. Silence isn't just what you withhold from others. It's what you choose to sit with yourself. In your quiet moments, who are you? Can you face your own mind without distraction? Can you sit in discomfort without running to your phone, your friends, your noise? The strongest men aren't loud, they're still. And from that stillness comes clarity, direction, power. So if this resonates, if you're tired of over-explaining, oversharing, and overreacting, subscribe. Not just to this channel, but to a way of life where silence becomes your strength. Where you no longer bleed energy into places that drain you. Where your voice isn't your only weapon, your presence is. Every video we make is built for people like you. People building quiet strength in a world full of chaos. Hit that button and let's keep sharpening that edge together. Silence gives you control, not just over others, but over yourself. When you master silence, you stop rushing to defend your ego. You stop trying to win every argument. You stop reacting to every insult like it's a command. You become deliberate, selective, grounded. And that unnerves people because they can't manipulate what they can't read. In relationships, silence teaches patience. You learn to listen fully, not just wait for your turn to speak. You stop trying to fix every silence with words. Sometimes the most powerful response is none at all. It creates space, and in that space, truth rises, yours and theirs. In leadership, silence commands respect. People follow those who speak with intention, who don't drown their team in noise, but deliver clarity in few words. A man who speaks only when it matters becomes someone whose words always matter. And in your personal growth, silence is where the real work begins, not in motivation videos, not in the applause of others, but in the quiet grind, when no one sees you, no one praises you, and yet you show up anyway. That's where strength is built. That's where you become the kind of man who doesn't need to be loud, because he's become undeniable. There will come a time when someone pushes you, disrespects you, underestimates you, tries to get a rise out of you, and in that moment, everything in you will want to respond, to prove a point, to remind them who you are. But strength doesn't always roar. Sometimes it just stares back, calm, unmoved, unbothered. Because when you've mastered silence, no one can control your narrative. You own the pace, you own the moment. The Stoics didn't stay silent out of fear, they stayed silent out of power. Because they understood something most people never will. A man who can control his words can control his world, not because he has nothing to say, but because he knows when to speak, and when silence says more. So train your silence like a weapon. Let it cut through noise, protect your peace, and build a presence so solid no one dares test it. This isn't passive, it's purposeful. It's the mark of someone who's done the inner work and doesn't need validation to prove it. Now ask yourself this: the next time chaos tries to pull you in, will you rise to the noise or sink deeper into your silence and let the world feel your power without ever hearing your voice?